give it one hell of a good match. But k1llsen's preparation has just been, throughout the entire course of Season 3, unbelievable to say the least. Like, he's been scrimming against absolutely everyone. He's been taking part in all community leagues, all community activity, and he's just looked more than rock solid in every single one of them. Like, this could be k1llsen at his absolute peak form right now.
Completely agree. And not to say, you know, k1llsen's also live streaming a lot of his games, practices, etc. So he's sort of showing everyone. Not everyone is doing that, but obviously what k1llsen is producing is clearly doing a lot. And, you know, I will continue to be watching how he develops out and continues to play here. But all eyes on ZenAku here, because this kind of fighting from the back of the field, if you will. And we're just a minute in. Only some minor exchanges here so far. But k1llsen, I think we're looking for that first frag. Both players with a little bit of speed here. Neither wanting to commit to that first battle, because I think that first frag will, as it usually is, be very important.
Yeah, there's a clear reason we're seeing so much care put into these approaches so far. k1llsen with an injection in hand, and the fact that Mega is right in front of him. If he can take this without having to pop it, then that's going to be even better for him. It looks like he will. ZenAku's going to disengage, try and give himself a different kind of position, but yeah, we're going to see tons and tons of care so far. However, it looks like k1llsen, you can see how much he wants this heavy, because he jumped down with 10 seconds to spare. Like, this is a very important objective for him, especially seeing as you're going up against a champion with a bit more stack. ZenAku just known to hit those really, really nice shots when he needs to. Nice prediction spam throughout that teleporter as well. But there does continue to be a massive delay between these items. Now the defensive LG that says, "Get off me, get out of here." And the control for k1llsen continues. ZenAku always making his presence known though. So how long are we going to play this dance, Wheat?
Yeah, really impressive what we're seeing. A lot of discipline. I'm really just always impressed with Zen, especially this season. It's just he's matured and his gameplay has tightened up so much. So still continuing to watch through him as he has done, if I'm not mistaken, majority of the damage. Yeah, just by a little bit, though. They've just kind of like been trading some blows back and forth, k1llsen, and nothing too major. I don't even think we've had any. We had one rail that's hit, a little bit of LG, obviously the rocket dances that are happening right now, but a big fight over this lower heavy. And ooh, huge rocket comes in, the inject comes out. We're gonna have Peeker come, but it is not gonna be enough. k1llsen grabs the armor. It was messy all across. ZenAku with a great rail though, and suddenly things are equal yet again. And no frag coming out of that one, but we're still getting a fair deal of action.
That was a rather critical fight that k1llsen knew he had to take down near heavy. You know, if he were to simply give that up and allow ZenAku to take that, would have allowed him to be a lot more aggressive, a lot more risks to be taken, thanks to the heavy increase in stack, really. The fact that he was able to one that, force it away, keep the control over the entire map. We haven't had a frag yet, but wait a minute. ZenAku actually stuck in no man's land.
If you can believe that.
Well, I think we're about to get a bit more than it at this point. And I actually like that choice. k1llsen, there was an opportunity maybe to get a frag there if he was able to hit a bit more, but ZenAku, he hasn't had an opportunity to make any kind of major plays yet. k1llsen's been sitting on all the items. He's been the one in position. He's getting those opening rails. And then while he goes to get the next one, ZenAku's having to kind of lick his wounds and be relegated to the rest of the map, taking all that light stuff that no one wants.
Ooh, rails exchanged again. Both players hitting. Peeker with some huge damage off the launch. We are going to see the inject come out, and ZenAku is in a very bad position. There's the rail and the first frag. 4 minutes and 3 seconds in k1llsen. It's going to go to k1llsen, but gosh, he worked for it here. Is there going to be a conversion frag? Not going to happen. Some LG from the bottom to the top, but going to sneak on down, grab that heavy, and we'll get away. So ZenAku recovers nicely from that, but k1llsen with the first frag on the board.
Could have been significantly worse there for ZenAku. k1llsen was not able to hit those shots, so he's able to take that heavy retreat, get himself a little bit back together, as the Mega will be the next objective here, something that ZenAku will soak up immediately. However, k1llsen, once again, always in the position to catch ZenAku off guard. Now, with how often k1llsen's been getting this opening damage on ZenAku, you would think we have an opportunity to have a much higher scoring game, but it has only been 1 frag so far. I think that does go to show that ZenAku's ability to disengage and recognize a vulnerable position has been pretty on point.
5-minute warning.
Completely agree. And I've seen chat, a couple of people say, come on, we want to see you go cutthroat. It's like, of course we do, but I just think there's an overwhelming amount of respect coming out here by both players to the other. And I would expect that things have picked up a bit, catch up, as they've gotten more comfortable, as they've been reading one another's patterns and decisions, whether that be in where they're going or the weapons that they're using, etc. The rail hasn't been a huge equalizer, but that's where k1llsen did find his first frag. So we're halfway through this map, and it kind of feels like we've been playing it for 10 minutes. k1llsen can attack with rockets on top of the Mega, but it's not going to yield much. It's going to be a few seconds to the heavy. k1llsen, did he not have the timing? I feel like he was in a great position to go for it, but he decided to keep that vertical advantage there.
Now, k1llsen's last couple of rails haven't hit their mark, which has given ZenAku a rare opening to push forward and make something happen. The preemptive inject just to make sure he can get out there quickly, give himself some extra potential rail padding if ZenAku chooses to go that way. Once again, 1-0. k1llsen does not want to give up anything. You know, ZenAku's going to have to work for it. However, here comes the aggressive push with the heavy spawning. God, he had so much armor anyway. That heavy barely gave him anything.
Yeah, I mean, k1llsen is... hey, you only need 1 frag to win the game. And k1llsen's kind of playing, I would say... You know, I would say he's definitely kind of gone into a more defensive mode already. He's not made any sort of serious move to take any of these major items if he thinks it's going to put him at risk. So, you know, looking for at least a full stack for him to be able to go in and move. Now, we've had another heavy taken, and next up is going to be the Mega here where the inject comes out, and that could be one, you know, thing that not only k1llsen's going to rely on, but use in this situation. Nice job as he does hit some good defensive shots, but the Mega, he's going to get a little bit of damage. A rail around the corner. k1llsen, again, playing very defensively, choosing his battles nicely. But what is going to happen here as the chase continues from ZenAku?
Gotta say, towards Mega, that was a really good choice to use the LG on the Pika. If he instinctively went to a rail, which most people do, he knew that even if he got the Pika, ZenAku would have got a free push on him. LG means I can recover straight away and still put up this defensive wall. Small little details like that that really goes to show just how safe k1llsen is playing this match so far. Playing this defensively, and I know it's not everyone's cup of tea to watch someone essentially play a 1 frag game. At this level of play, surely it has got to be incredibly difficult to do, because the consequences for dying, you make 1 mistake and you lose a frag, you could lose the whole map on it.
Yes, I would even argue, Ketchup, that like these 2 players' hearts are beating faster than they do in any other Quake match, right? Because it is that 1 frag on the line, and we are going to have k1llsen getting hit with that rail, puts him in the danger zone, back up to okay, but he has the inject, he has kind of a oh crap button right now, but he's got to be very, very careful. He's looking around for any sort of light he can get there. The inject comes out. He knows that another heavy is up. He's preparing for it. Great rail as he sees his opponent's head peek over the top. And ZenAku still looking okay as far as stack is concerned, but k1llsen could do this for another 90 seconds. Like, this could be the rest of the game here, but I guarantee you their hearts are beating out of their chests right now.
ZenAku got taken by surprise there, so he did not have the right weapon for that close-range encounter. Actually, I don't think he took any damage in that encounter. k1llsen just sat there and just ran out unscathed. Now, this does mean that the 1-minute warning, it's in full effect. And it has been k1llsen's positioning every step of the way. He's in a perfect position to do a decent chunk of damage, but at the same time, get out of dodge in a split second so ZenAku can do absolutely nothing to return it. This has got to be the most frustrating kind of opponent to fight, and k1llsen has been sticking to his guns the whole time. Now, he is starting to set up shop a little bit towards this eye location under power-up. We do know that a lot of players like to use this part of the map when the chips are down. The only difference now is that a Strog can probably chase an Anarchy trying to do that, but he has to make something happen. Big push. Wait a minute!
Oh my gosh, the
He's
eject
railable.
comes out, but k1llsen runs away so very low.
He's
There's
still railable.
10 seconds until heavy. Yeah, he's absolutely, he is in super danger zone. Grabs that 25 up at the top. If he waits it out just a few seconds, he could have got the heavy, but he's not. He's not even going to risk it. He goes to the safe spot. 3, 2, 1, and k1llsen.
GG.
Ratson, I don't know what you call that ketchup, but that was pretty impressive. Yes. So 1,600 damage apiece from both players. You look at ZenAku's pickups, 11 heavies. I think it said 16 megas at that point. So just imagine that it really did come down to exactly what you were pointing out time and time again. k1llsen's positioning. Every single time in a spot. You mentioned that ZenAku was doing a good job with his disengagements, but I think k1llsen took his positions to the next level, hit those shots that were mattered, only committed to any sort of fight or item pickup if he was in a good spot stack-wise, and I cannot believe that that was a 1-0 game.
I mean, I guarantee some people in chat are complaining about it. I guarantee it. But the reality is, it's just one of the many ways that you can approach, and kind of to reiterate that there does bring with it an extreme risk. You know, there could have been any of those. If k1llsen at any point made a critical error and lost one frag, then immediately the whole dynamic of that map gets flipped on its head, and then, you know, who knows, maybe it goes into sudden death, then maybe ZenAku gets the final frag. Like, it was a extremely high risk way of playing. But one thing I didn't touch on is that, if I'm not mistaken, these two have scrimmed together on stream a fair amount. You know, I kind of lurk ZenAku stream sometimes, I lurk k1llsen stream. It's been quite often that they've gone head to head. Maybe I've just tuned in right as they're playing each other, so it could very much be that. But the more you play someone in practice, the more familiar you can get with them. You know, which means the more information you have going into game day. You know, when the chips are down, maybe k1llsen hadn't played that way versus ZenAku before and went for something totally, you know, away from the system. If there's a chance that k1llsen has not played like that against ZenAku before, this is purely theory fighter, I could be wrong, but the chips are down, we're playing for the serious stuff, and now here comes an opponent playing in a way that is unlike anything before, and it's like, wait a minute, what did I just see for the last 10 minutes?
I mean, it really is quite different from how we've seen k1llsen approach Anarchy play on that map before in the past. So yeah, there's like something deeper there, but I thought the game was quite great.
I liked
as
it.
far as I'm concerned. You know, I'm obviously, you know, get my blood pumping, get the adrenaline going. I have a feeling this game here on Awoken is going to be exactly that. But the variety of what you can get out of a game at two amazing players at this level, that's one of the reasons why I love Quake, period. So I'm down with it. We've got k1llsen up one game by one frag, and now we kick things off on Awoken. Take it away.
It's the time to begin. ZenAku immediately popping that berserk. I mean, just thanks to the fact that you can now punch forward and fly at 1,000 miles an hour has allowed him to get a pretty decent start. However, that one rocket that he took probably was not part of the plan. Has every weapon he could ever want except for a rocket launcher currently. And a rather fast beginning. That's one thing I always love about watching the start of Awoken. There are, depending on the champion and the player, there are so many ways you can start the map.
There really are, and we're going to have a fight here at Mega right away. Rail comes out. ZenAku takes the bad end of that one. k1llsen hits another one down to 20% or 20 hit points. There's the rocket jump to try to get away, and he will find some safety. ZenAku, though, still in a bad spot in a bad way right now. He's got the arsenal weapons that he needs, but his stack is looking abysmal at this point. Still 0-0, and I expect we're going to see these explosions of action, exactly like what happened right there, as we've now got, once again, range popped, and 1 minute, the heavy is up. It's grabbed by k1llsen, and so far the story of his game's been controlled, but there's a nice defensive rocket as the back and forth continues.
ZenAku has played incredibly careful so far. However, with these rails that continue, look out! No! Too predictable on the drop down. Pretty sure k1llsen knew that was going to happen 10 seconds ago. I was going to say ZenAku has been very, very patient so far, and he has played incredibly well too. You know, if you're dealing with a light champion, you are able to somewhat forego some of the control purely because with their difference in stack, you know, you get one good rail, you get one direct rocket, then a lot of that stack gets disappeared. And ZenAku actually did manage to hit a direct on the way through. It's just that k1llsen's ability to chase down ferocious has been very, very good so far.
Yeah, there's a good rail there from ZenAku on the grapple from k1llsen, and as long as k1llsen has that stack, I think you're going to see him sort of pick up the speed of his play overall. Obviously, with the grapple, that helps out tremendously. But we're 2 minutes in; he's one frag up. He seems to not necessarily even be committing to this middle, only when appropriate. But we've got both major items coming up here. 11 on the Mega. And I'm wondering if k1llsen, he's being real quiet as he just solid snakes his way around the map. There, we're going to have the Mega up. I think he's going to wait here, move in for that heavy. Again, k1llsen, like, not prioritizing these items, just so interesting.
But with it comes risk, much like the first map that we saw. With this difference in stack and the fact that ZenAku has hit 2 very, very tidy rails. k1llsen going for a less obvious direction forward there. That could have been a lot scarier if he went the other way. Defensive rocket. What?
No!
Hey, look, I mean, he did as much damage there as he could have. He definitely accepted his fate and just tried to get as much damage as he could, and that was a decent amount. However, LG, deleted, turned to paste, vaporized.
I'm not surprised that k1llsen made that decision to kind of go for it. I feel like it appeared as if he did a significant amount of damage. I think ZenAku was able to pick up just enough health to kind of make that fight fightable. But he takes the lead on that one, and great job by ZenAku kind of being patient, I think playing exactly how he needs to versus this Athena from k1llsen. Another nice rail by k1llsen. And look at that, ZenAku just going for it with a jumping rail. It's going to secure him the heavy. And now he, well, it turns down the aggression just a little bit as k1llsen lands 2 rails. Is he going to be able to land another one? He does to tie it up. And on the outside, ZenAku cannot finish that one up. That gives an opening for k1llsen. And he ties the game up 2-2 at 4 minutes.
It's a scary game to play against k1llsen, knowing that he has those rail angles on you, and with someone as much of a vanilla hurtbox as a Doomslayer. I mean, one of the easier champions to hit, really, across the board. Apart from back in the day when he was double jumping and you could shoot through his legs. That was really fun. But I think with this kind of matchup, you know, ZenAku is at least doing a good job of just continuing to cycle the map. He's taking opportunities when he can, but k1llsen just brings forward a different beast.
Yeah, you know, thinking about how this can play out here, well, I think the rail wars are just going to be continuing here. The rail wars of Awoken 2020, as ZenAku just sitting on the heavy, though. Great job as he just ticks away at some damage there. Beautiful rails. Opponent goes up that jump pad, and he's looking to grab this 3rd frag and take the lead. I like the pace in which ZenAku is playing around the corner. Another great rail, and he's just looking for the cleanup here. Not within a single rail. Unfortunately, ZenAku kind of can't string those additional rails together. It's going to remain 2-2, but another fight over by the heavy. LG's out on both sides. ZenAku down to 6, and he eats a big old shotgun blast, and then LG to clean it up. k1llsen, though, is the one who grabs frag number 3 and the lead.
ZenAku doing what he can do. A little sort of fake out there, the double jump on the jump pad, just to make sure k1llsen was looking the wrong way. ZenAku able to pick up a rocket because of it, however. Even if he's trying to get these bursts of speed, you're going up against k1llsen, Railson, as he is always known. And the second you get hit by one of those rails, you're in such a horrible position. Here comes another one. ZenAku has been fighting from behind pretty much all map long. He doesn't even manage to deny the heavy. That is unfortunate.
I mean, suddenly aggression level over 9,000 as he grabs the heavy. grapples over, kills his opponent, grabs the Mega, another grapple into the kill, and look at suddenly this momentum completely on the side of k1llsen. He has got the stack that he needs, the weapon that he needs, and even as low as 60 points of health, he's railable at this point. He suddenly takes his 1 frag lead and makes it a 5 frag lead. That is the explosiveness of k1llsen, and the patience, I guess, just weared off. Ketchup, he was like, I'm done. I need to really turn it up here. He saw an open opportunity to do it, and I think that's kind of the power of playing against Athena, grabbing that lead and doing exactly what we just saw him do there. Just huge unload.
I mean, this is Quake. You'll have a low-scoring game for 5 minutes, you'll blink, and then 5 more frags have been landed. In this case, k1llsen able to get 7 versus ZenAku's 2, where time is very much running out. I'm a little bit worried, though, because ZenAku, fresh off spawn a couple of times, like, sometimes k1llsen was able to trap him, and in other cases, ZenAku kind of just went for the attractive first item, and k1llsen was already prepared for it. I just feel like, you know, that temporary moment where you just want to pick this one item up, and then here is k1llsen, you've lost 2 frags. And then, before you know it, now it's 2-7. And ZenAku is very much running out of time. The berserk! It's kind of worked and it kind of hasn't. Yeah, I guess that's the volatile nature of poor old Doomslayer, but k1llsen is going to continue to just plow his way through this map, and it's a very different map indeed from what we saw merely minutes ago.
It was deja vu. It was literal deja vu. It was 2-5, had the frag at the heavy, grappled over, killed at the Mega, got the item. And then the exact same thing happened to get 2 more frags when it was 2-7. There's 2 minutes left at this point. I think k1llsen is going to wrap this up real nicely. Like not like he wrapped it himself, but he had the store wrap it, you know, like those professional gift wrappers. That is what's happening right now in the final moments of this game right here. 7 frag lead. It's going to be next to impossible to actually bring this one back, but k1llsen, I mean, just what an impressive display. I take this example right here and I go back to the interview that we had with Avic where he talks about how he feels like Quake is boxing. And that was that super explosive round 5 flurry that absolutely sealed the deal for this one here. And that was good Quake right there.
And with a minute left to go, all we can simply do is reflect on the map that we've seen. ZenAku was playing a good game of kind of just keeping up with k1llsen, if you will. But k1llsen does tend to be just one of the more explosive players that we have. Everything he does is super methodical and thought out. But then, just the moment he senses that the frag is his, he will push all the way through, seize it, take it, and then bam, whatever pressure comes next. Maybe it will daisy chain a few more frags. Maybe he'll just put the pressure on and start playing the patient game. It's historically very hard to find anything you could consider a mistake. And I guess that's what makes him really the current most dangerous player that we've got in Season 3, because when do you see him have an off day? When does he play poorly? It just doesn't happen, ever.
Maybe that's why he streams so much, so like they can happen, you know, off regular season games. So, you know, at times when it doesn't necessarily matter. I don't know, but to your point, it really does go to show that, you know, I could sit here as a commentator and be like, why didn't k1llsen go for the heavy right there? Or why, I wonder what he was waiting for. And he is clearly all calculated, right? And I just love to see it. Compared to the last game where we had about, I think it was 3,200 damage total, 4,300 damage on k1llsen's side, 3,000 on ZenAku's side. And the first 4 minutes of that game, you know, we saw ZenAku go down, but then bring it back. And then that one explosive moment, I think the movement, the weapon set that k1llsen had, it allowed him to just explode, convert all those frags, and then that was the thing that sealed the deal there. So really impressive game. And I'd love to see ZenAku bring it back here on Deep Embrace. He's played great today. I think k1llsen just had that explosive moment, hit the perfect shot he needed to, stunned, locked ZenAku, and that was it.
It's kind of mad to look at it throughout the course of these replays, how it was so close for so long, and then really in the blink of an eye, here comes k1llsen powerhousing his way through, and then bam, it's a done deal. However, we are going into one snowball heavy map to another as it's Deep Embrace, the final stop here. So the extra dynamic, I suppose, is going to be that we have the Death Knight coming through this time. k1llsen will have a Ranger, and I think there's going to be a real mind game at play here, purely over the use of ability. Death Knight versus Ranger is such a weird one, because if either of the other catches them and either player does not have that ability ready to go, the difference in the fight can be pretty severe, and that's just to suggest that we'll have close range fights. We could have very rail heavy games. We can have that on Deep Embrace. There might be more emphasis on the mid range perhaps, but keeping account of what resources your opponent has with Ranger and Death Knight in particular is just very important.
Agree. And, you know, I'm thinking a little bit about abilities here, and just sort of the explosive nuke that ZenAku has in his pocket. k1llsen kind of the same, but more of a positional advantage here. I would expect him to... I expect both players to just kind of go with a very standard strat of owning that middle area and trying to lock it down as quickly as possible. Thing to look out for is initial spawn's going to tell us a lot right away. So be watching out for that. I've seen some really cheeky things too in terms of being able to spawn in the right place and try to capitalize on both. Don't think that's going to happen here, but... I think ZenAku still does have a chance here, but k1llsen looks fired up. He might take that momentum he gathered in game 2 and try to bring it here, but I'd still like to see that 2-1, even though k1llsen's obviously already won the set.
I'd like to see it finished off with a bit of a closer exchange too. This is just one of those days where k1llsen's playing the way we know he can. ZenAku, in that last map, there was just a couple of instances where, you know, on the spot berserks, sometimes they worked out, sometimes they didn't. It's just the nature of Doomslay, you know, it's not going to work every time. But on this map, I'm going to be just keeping a keen eye on just the level of care that we're seeing applied to the close range. Because with this matchup in particular, you've got to be so careful. If you haven't got Flame Strike or you haven't got Orb and vice versa, then things can be pretty different. As we check now things out from k1llsen's point of view first. ZenAku getting the heavy side spawn, and the immediate push man's on fire. And he's already been able to stop the fire though, as he's able to pick up some health. Go him. Oh, ZenAku's got to be careful here, Wheat.
Oh, he doesn't land a very nice rail, but that tribal, all 8, it doesn't matter though. A great set of shots. I like the positioning that we saw coming out of ZenAku there, but he's still got another problem. That's a fresh spawn from k1llsen here. He just tracks him down, goes for the electrocution, is going to tie it back up, but of course now in the same spot that his opponent was moments ago. There he grabs 225s to wrap it back up. Rocket jump up to the heavy, and that's going to make it 1-1, but I like the start of this one. Both players showing exactly what their potential here is in this map, and we're tied up 1-1.
Now ZenAku has not been able to hit much of his rocket damage, but who cares with the Incendimus, my favorite, as he gets a 2-1 situation right here. But what can he do to sort of bring himself back up? There's a little bit of health here that he can pick up. k1llsen will know that ZenAku's pretty weak, especially if he's setting up shop over here, and there's the push. That's exactly what I was talking about.
This is nicely done. Good place to be. Perfect hit. 2-2. We're tied back up, and this is exactly what we could see coming out of both players the whole time. Huge rocket jump into the shotgun damage. I like it from k1llsen. He's going to rocket jump back up to the top, put himself in a position to maybe grab this heavy, but has himself a rail and going to try to control the bridge here as he prepares. Both players using Tri-Bolt as well, kind of to zone their damage there. k1llsen a little bit late. He is going to go ahead and orb out. He's got the height advantage here, and huge Tri-Bolt right to the face. Stop him in his tracks.
ZenAku's defensive play so far has been on point. Absolutely. You know, k1llsen, he's going for those kind of risky moves, those kind of cheeky little rocket jumps, super shotgun pushes, which are always going to be a little bit volatile because you can never truly rely on the damage that the shotgun's going to do, even at close range sometimes. But ZenAku's ability to just kind of play that defensive game, back up, look for these items, hit that Tri-Bolt spam, which has been really good for him so far. And now, importantly, rail in hand. Unfortunately, cannot return fire, though. Right as he takes the shot, k1llsen knocks him off course.
This Tribolt is great. Just fantastic job. What?
Okay.
I can't even believe hitting 2 of those shots from that perspective. That is not easy to do, but he just points straight down and gets the job done. ZenAku might actually even convert on this one. Oh, he nails one rocket, second rocket he gets hit with. Still trying to find that rail, can't do it. And, oh, k1llsen was handed that frag. ZenAku committed to the rail, just couldn't get it done. He's on the chase, though. He's trying to get it down, catch up. The rocket defensively hits it. k1llsen turns it around again. It is 4-3 as neither player wanting to give up their position, thus resulting in a lot of aggression here.
Turning it around with 8 HP remaining as well. k1llsen picks up yet another one. The second that opening rail landed, you kind of had a feeling that ZenAku was on borrowed time there. There was no way he could really escape. And this is going to be one of the weaknesses of Death Knight. Death Knight is pure shred. Explosive damage. That's it. That's all the champion can do. You're going to set him on fire with a gauntlet. No one's going to do that in a duel. So what you end up being in this situation where you're not able to escape. You're not able to get around. k1llsen's going to make chase. You get hit by a rail. What? Oh, God! He's playing Time Crisis or something. Bloody hell. Trying to make that one single credit last, man.
Yeah, yes, exactly. I mean,
Whoa!
Whoa, the lift. Very nicely done. Someone called for an elevator, and it was ZenAku. He's going to bring it back. I still like where he's out here and what we're seeing here. k1llsen down to 7 points of health. You just need to flick him on the ear right now.
Oh, there's no way.
I cannot believe it. He gave up so much damage. He's going to use the orb rocket, jumps over, starts burning, and he goes down as well. I just cannot believe how ridiculous this match has been so far. Both players not giving up. ZenAku's trying to bring this back. Let's see 3 come here. 5 minutes left to go. It's still possible. I still can't believe that he saw that much damage when he just had 7 points of health left. Bonkers.
I think on top of the fact that it has been complete pandemonium, k1llsen does still have a pretty decent lead. But the rails have been... When's the last time you saw k1llsen miss 3 rails in a row? I can't remember the last time I saw that. Looking for the combo. Oh, unfortunately, that flame strike doesn't land, but it doesn't matter. These rails. What is this match? This is such a weird match, but I'm having the time of my life, week. An aggressive push with the orb, but k1llsen survives barely. He is going to get those 2 health bubbles, and ZenAku knows it.
This is
God.
Both players being mad at those chatters that were like, what a boring game 1. This isn't what I watch QPL for. They're like, all right, we're going to give them a show that's going to blow their minds. And another huge rocket coming out from k1llsen. Gosh, ZenAku brought it back. Such aggression, such explosiveness there. But k1llsen absolutely capable of exactly the same thing. Not giving it up quite yet. He is low again. Goes to that teleporter. ZenAku still on the hunt. k1llsen's going to find his opponent. And the LG damage does do a significant amount. Unfortunately, that orb's sticking to the wall, and ZenAku's going to bring this back. Can he find some momentum to grab 2 more and tie this one up? A huge rail, a second rail. k1llsen, he just needs to spit on him. Just... Uh-oh. Oh, even better. Let's k1llsen get the job done himself.
As we say in the business suite, we take those.
Yep.
But ZenAku, what does he get from it? I mean... a difference in frag without having to take any damage whatsoever, so it's a perfect situation for him. k1llsen's stuck in a precarious position. He still has to wait 3 seconds before the orb. Not suggesting he's going to use it immediately, but having that available is going to be pretty important. But like I said before, managing the ability here when they both have it, who's going to be the first to pull that trigger? Because if we have a close range fight, it's going to be a lot more pivotal. But ZenAku, the use! No! I was about to say the use of the rail means that he doesn't have to be as point blank and deal with the threat of the orb. And right as he misses the final shot, k1llsen just throws it in. Oh my lord.
I bet you that really triggered ZenAku. Like, that was rough on that. I actually thought maybe Flame was gonna win that one, but apparently we found a weakness. Was undocumented, but we've got still a fair amount of time to catch him. No! Oh no!
I saw that through ZenAku's point of view. It was glorious.
I also saw that through ZenAku, and you can call it glorious. I would also call it a nightmare, but depending which way you look at it.
Glass half full or glass half empty.
But 2 minutes left to go. Without that suicide, that might have been a little bit different, or knockoff rather. And we're gonna have a trade. No trade. ZenAku picks that one up. All right, we still got a game.
Has to watch out though. An aggressive k1llsen. That was all the damage ZenAku was going to do given the circumstances, so he had to make it count. Did everything he could.
Yeah.
k1llsen able to pick up that heavy and now creates a even more difficult situation. 2 minutes of this map is still left to go, so there is still an opportunity for ZenAku to make something happen. And it would be, you know, we've had a great time here on the map, and it has been an absolute wild ride. However, it is still 2-0 for k1llsen. If ZenAku takes this map, it is going to be an all-important single map to take. Every map is going to count, you know, when we tally the end and we're looking for seeding and all this important stuff.
Oh. A 93 rocket through the floor into a double rail. k1llsen is like, I am done playing with my food. It's time to wrap this one up. He has just hit some bonkers shots. Just completely juicy shots here. And he's probably going to take the victory, especially with that one getting up close and personal. Catch up. A little kiss to end the matchup.
I was half expecting another ring out. Not that he needs it at this point. This will be an overall dominant victory here for k1llsen, able to take it versus ZenAku. This has just been, I feel like, no detriment to ZenAku. I think this has just been a really, really, really strong day for k1llsen. There were a couple of instances maybe on this map where he missed a few rails back to back, but you know what I said, if you're looking for a mistake made by k1llsen, you have to absolutely nitpick. You have to look for the smallest possible detail, and that's why he's considered to be the most dangerous player in the league so far. I mean, you have plenty of players to choose from. You've got the Vengers, the Raffas, but there's just something about k1llsen's current form here in this season that is just absolutely nightmarish, and ending the day with a 17-9 game. Well played overall and a one-sided win. He's going to be feeling good about that one. Check out his stream.
He's definitely going to be feeling good. 3-0 on that one. I mean, it needs to be said as we bring Dan back in. I mean, ZenAku played great. He had some, made some great decisions throughout the games, had some great shots as well. I think k1llsen just was that one level higher. Anyway, let's bring Dan in, get his thoughts and breakdown on what he thought of this matchup as k1llsen takes it 3-0.
No, I think you said it right. Like, the scores, particularly map 2 and 3, were pretty vast, but at the same time, I don't think he would have found that easy despite that, because as you said, right, he was pushed to the limit and had to go, particularly on map 2, Super Saiyan for parts of it, just to rack up enough frags where he felt confident. But, you know, map 1 was indicative of how much he respects ZenAku and how careful he has to play. It's just stereotypical k1llsen. He just takes those positions that are so obvious that you know exactly where he is, but you just can't do anything about it. And then some of the rails he was hitting throughout the entire series are just mind-blowing. But ZenAku likewise, he was quite comfortable. He never looked rattled throughout. He kept his composure. He played the map. He played his opponent, and it was a really good game. It was just k1llsen. I can see why you said it was nightmarish. k1llsen is just on another level when he plays like this, and it's exactly why he's sitting at top of the leaderboard.
And just continuing his reign of terror so far. I mean, look at that record, 7-1. That is rather frightening if you're still one of those players that's yet to go head-to-head against him. Only one player's been able to pull off a victory so far. We are getting information all the way across every single week.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Gross.
I mean, there were just a few moments where, again, map awareness, understanding exactly where ZenAku was, where he was just ready and was just like, hey, here's a free 80 damage in LG that I'm just going to get as you come around this corner. Results in a lot of frags as well, but even his conversions and cleanups, it was on point. It's great.
I mean, the question is, folks, where do we go from here? Where does k1llsen go from here? You know, he's already seen great success at the absolute highest caliber throughout his Quake Champions career. This one in particular, I think, would be very important to him to go all the way in, because this has been an absolute shark tank of a season. Everyone's fighting everyone. You have these incredibly sweaty matches before we've even gone into thinking about the finals, and k1llsen's able to show that he is an absolute demon. And it's just continuing to show that at this point, I suppose. But that was our first featured matchup of the day. Good news is there's one more left to go. I'm k1llsen, joined by ZSX, DJ Wheat. We'll be back in a few minutes' time for our final match of Week 9 of our Pro League.